Welcome back to RossyRoo's Gaming News. I'm Ross, and just in case Master Chief specifically didn't save you from the flood, here's what you missed in games this week. Don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I am in flip-flops. You can probably hear them. Halo Infinite studio director Chris Lee of 343 Industries recently stated on Twitter that the Halo Infinite release date will not be until 2021. The announcement was made on Halo's Twitter page, and Microsoft did make a point of noting that it was partially, in large part, due to the difficulties caused by COVID, which we have already seen delaying games this year. They also stated that it would not be in the best interest for the well-being of the team to ship this holiday season. If this is the entirety of the reason for their delay, I completely understand. But recently, Halo Infinite's gameplay was first shown in the Series X's game reveal, alongside games like a new Fable and a new RPG by Obsidian called Avowed, which looks great. However, there was a very big backlash against Halo Infinite. A lot of fans said that it didn't look next-gen, especially didn't look next-gen Halo. Could this have been part of the cause of the delay? They didn't mention it, but I'm pretty sure that it was. Personally, I really enjoyed the trailer. That being said, I am nostalgic about the early games, especially Halo 3. The entire aesthetic, from the vibrant colors to even the sound design and like the grunt voices, was very nostalgic for me. But I know that it can't just look like Combat Evolved, because that is a very old game. And quite frankly, Microsoft does need to be competing for a new, younger audience in the platform release. Does it look like a graphical masterpiece right now? Why don't you ask your old pal Craig? For me, there are also other aspects of the trailer that looked intriguing but raised some questions, such as, does Halo need to be open world? I don't know if that really adds anything to it, but we'll see. It looks exciting nevertheless. Another large debate that this delay sparks is, has Microsoft handed over the console war victory to Sony this holiday? I would say in large part no, because the console war does not seem to exist this year, at least in the same way that it has in generations previous. A large part of what Microsoft is selling this release is Game Pass. It's trying to get more people on Game Pass, whether they're playing on the Xbox Series X, which they have made clear that they would still like you to buy, but also on PC. Sony, on the other hand, is bringing a lot of fantastic exclusives, as it has been. Microsoft will probably bring those, but it has recently acquired its studios, and they obviously still need time to make these games. Still, it is clear that Microsoft is probably going to sell less consoles due to the delay of Halo Infinite compared to Sony, which is going to have more exclusives on release date. One extremely random side note about the Halo Infinite trailer: I did notice that the piano chords that play at the very beginning might be literally the exact piano chords that play at the intro of Fallout 4. I don't know if this is true.
We began to use atomic energy not as a weapon.
And now for our next story. Could Tencent Games be banned in the United States? Short answer, no. But maybe. Last week, Americans were reminded of the potential power of the government when it comes to rules in online gaming. On August 6th, President Trump signed a very vaguely worded executive order that banned transactions with Chinese tech companies ByteDance and Tencent, which own WeChat and TikTok respectively, alongside a whole other host of online services. Many TikTokers have been expressing their concern about the app being shut down in the United States, but there have also been people expressing concern over online gaming. Tencent is by far China's biggest video game company, owning Riot Games, which has League of Legends, as well as part of Epic Games, Ubisoft, and Activision Blizzard. A law banning transactions with Tencent could have ramifications in online gaming, such as would Fortnite be allowed to be played in the United States? It is partially owned by Tencent. Would Valorant, the hero shooter, be allowed to be played in the United States? Fortunately, the Trump administration did clear this up, stating to the LA Times that the executive order is only banning transactions with the software WeChat. And yeah, my general takeaway from this is how scary it can be for online gamers, seeing that the government could effectively, if they chose to restrict transactions with Tencent, ban games from being played in the United States that Tencent had property in. And we are talking about a tech giant with almost as much video game revenue as Sony and Microsoft combined. But for now, it looks like American gamers got a victory. It looks like American gamers got a victory We learned this week that Ashraf Ismail, Ubisoft's former creative director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, has recently been fired after previously stepping down earlier in the summer due to allegations of sexual misconduct. Ubisoft informed Bloomberg this week that while Ashraf had already stepped down from his position as creative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, he had not been fired yet, but has now been fired due to results of the recent investigations. We saw a Me Too movement within the video game industry late June this year, with dozens of women coming forward. Many of these allegations were pointed towards Ubisoft and painted a picture that looked like a lot of the top executives had known about the toxic culture for years. Ishmael's departure is following those of Tommy Francois and Maxime Boulon, other top executives at Ubisoft, and this cleaning house can only be a good thing for the company. Yes, Ismail was in charge of some of Assassin's Creed's most beloved titles such as Black Flag and Origins, but it's far more important to me, and I'm sure many other fans, that the workplace be a healthier and safer place for the employees than just for all the games to be good. And I'm sure the games will still be great. I'm sure Assassin's Creed Valhalla will still be great. After all, it's probably past a lot of the stages in which creative direction would be involved. It seems like a lot of the creative direction of that game is already finished. And now it's time for a cool other thing. My most recent gaming addiction has been Stardew Valley, a peaceful farming simulator which I copped for $15 as opposed to Animal Crossing $60 because big brain. Stardew Valley's sole creator Eric Barone announced on Twitter last week that in the 1.5 update of the game, you will be able to do something insane. Move your bed. The gaming industry is shaking. Not really, but the small news has been shaking the game's meta scene. And if you're wondering how a peaceful farming simulator can be competitive, ask Animal Crossing's anti-clock changers. That was a timely reference, Ross. In Stardew Valley, you go to bed and wake up at 6 a.m. every morning to harvest your cabbage, just like real life. Stardew Valley will allow you to skip day cycles by going to sleep, allowing speedrunners to get to in-game parts much more quickly. That being said, the placement of a bed in Stardew Valley could potentially change the game wildly for the meta community, speedrunners specifically. The unanswered question here, Eric, is where can I put my bed? Can I put it at the bottom of the lake? Can I put it in the mine? Can I put it next to the general store, Eric? Can I put it inside my body, Eric? That's just something to think about. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and sticking with me through that Stardew Valley tangent. My name's Ross, and you can find me on my personal channel RossyRoo, where I make videos on video game culture. See you next time.